cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in too. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in too. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host, Freddie G, Flash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. And you can find us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And if you're on YouTube, please don't forget to like and or subscribe. Today, we're here for True Tuesday, where we talk about things that are true, but that are unbelievable. And today's topic, I thought we'd talk about the internet. You know, I don't know how you guys feel about the internet, but I feel like in today's society, the internet is both a drug and a necessity. You know, with social media, I feel that's where it becomes a drug. You know, I feel like, especially with these teenagers, everywhere you look, you know, they have a phone in their hand. You know, from the time that they wake up to the time that they fall asleep. You know, and
all day long.
That's just like, you know, you see some of these addicts out here that are some drug addicts that are out here.
Yeah.
And I think it's just as serious as some of these drugs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
How y'all feel about that?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I think honestly, it's not just the kids, it's adults too. I mean, I even have a problem because in the morning I get up, I go right to Instagram. I just go scroll.
That's social media.
Yeah, I'm not commenting. I'm scrolling. I get up, go straight to Instagram, go to Facebook, and scroll. And it's a habit, and it happens every day. So I feel that I don't think it's just kids. It's an addiction. I think with everybody. I think everybody has. You think about it, you can't leave the house without your phone. You can leave without your hat.
But we did it once upon a time.
Yeah, we did back in the day. But now they done made it so addictive that you can't leave the house without your phone. You'll go back, you'll leave food, you leave anything else.
Yeah.
That's facts.
You're not forgetting that phone.
But you ain't gonna forget that phone.
You think you can...
Because your life is on that phone. Everything is on your phone.
So let me ask you this. If you had the option, well, not if you had the option, but let's say you had a job, and that job required you to not utilize a smartphone, because I'm going to say that was one of the things that you know, contains the internet. Mm-hmm. And this job, the salary was pretty beneficial to you. Mm-hmm. Let's say twice as what you're making today. Could you see yourself taking that job just to give up?
Now I throw this phone straight across that freeway right there. This freeway we looking at, we throw it straight across that freeway for doubling my salary.
Now that's a mature decision.
Because
20 years ago, would you make that same decision?
Okay, 20 years. What? 20 years ago?
Even though we didn't have.
We had flip phones 20 years ago.
Hypothetically speaking, let's say we had these type of phones 20 years ago. Would you have made that wise decision?
If we had these phones. We had these phones 20 years ago, we'd probably be rich. But 20 years ago, how was the job market 20 years ago?
How about you, Freddie G? You think 20 years ago we had these smartphones and you had that type of job offer? Do you think you can see yourself taking that job offer just to give up the internet if you were addicted to it?
Yeah, I can see myself doing that because I'm disciplined. And a lot of times, if the individuals that have difficulty staying away from their phones, chances are they're probably not disciplined. Now, I will say this. So, in today's society, the world today, everything is on the internet. You can't even fill out an application like old school anymore,
right,
and taking it to the people to turn it in.
And that's what makes it a necessity.
Because it's on the internet.
Right.
The problem is the internet has a lot of distractions. And so if you're easily distracted, then of course you're going to find yourself on social media looking at porn sites. Yeah. It's the most football, sports, because you're distracted.
Right.
That's why you have to be disciplined. So I think it all boils down to discipline myself.
And they have it built to where it's easily it's set up to easily distract you because you have those pop-ups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you may not even be thinking about porn at the time, like you saying.
But pop up.
And something's gonna pop up that's gonna get you intrigued or want to think about that behind that was shaking that you just saw.
And the add on and piggyback off of that.
Yep.
It's 13-year-olds,
That have
14-year-olds got access to these same sites.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't have no screen on there looking, oh, you 13, you can't get on the site.
Yeah, and they're getting addicted very early.
And they're getting addicted to the internet and everything else. And it's what's teaching them.
You're right.
You know?
But here's the thing.
It's everybody's addicted to that internet, bro. In today's world, everything is technology. Think about it.
It is.
When you go to the bank, that's the thing is using internet. When you go to the corner store, use your debit card, boom, that's the internet. The only time they tell you our system is down is because the internet ain't working.
Yeah.
So everything is addicted to the internet.
We can't do nothing without the internet.
Without it.
Yeah. And to add to your online banking, I do online banking on my phone. My
Yeah.
Robinhood is on my phone.
Internet.
My Fidelity 401k on my phone.
Internet.
So it's not addictive. It's a
necessity.
Some is a necessity.
That's what
and
make-
it became to the point
Yeah.
where it's a necessity and an addiction at the same
which
time.
makes you addicted.
Yeah.
So-
So it's a forced addictive rather than a. Cause me, honestly, I'd rather not have a phone, or if I do got a phone, I can just have 0 through 9. I ain't gotta use the internet. I just call me, I call you. I'm old school. I don't like all this.
So you can
texting.
survive without this internet.
I really don't. If I ain't have to have my online banking and all that stuff,
But you can still get your banking done without it being online. It didn't made you lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means I gotta drive to.
Hey, that's what we used to do.
agree.
You got
You
it.
just said, you know,
Yeah.
come on now.
You got
I
it.
agree.
You got it.
This is how we once lived, and I wouldn't mind going back to them days, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
right.
because what you seeing on the internet now is horrible. Everywhere you look, see, stuff was going on
Right.
back then, but we didn't know
We didn't
about
know
it.
about
But
it. Right.
now they got the internet, and everybody got the internet, and they got their camera out every time they walk out in the street.
Yep, and now I'm gonna mess you up even more. China has a version of TikTok that they use. The version that we got is booty shaking and all that. Their version is it doesn't open. It doesn't. You can't use it until 11:30, and they cut it off at 5. And everything you post has to be educational. That's their version.
Yeah, it's just more control. That's more government control. That's what makes us a free country, right? Let me explain something to you. So,
Right.
well, let me elaborate. So here's the deal. You got to ask yourself, the internet. If the U.S. didn't have the internet, but you had other countries like China that's coming up with the internet, that will put us behind. Now we're becoming damn near like a third world country.
Right.
I can recall back, and I used to have one called Web TV. Y'all recall Web TV?
Web TV.
Yeah, I used to have Web TV back in the day before
Yeah.
the internet kicked in.
Yeah.
And I can see the growth. Think about email. Nobody writes letters anymore.
No.
Nobody writes letters anymore. They even got it to where now in prisons, you can actually email in prison.
Times are
Yeah.
changing.
So now they can actually read what the people, the mail that you was getting once that you was reading, they
Yeah.
can see it now.
Yeah, well, they doing that anyway. They screen the mail anyway. They
Yeah.
clean your letters open and reading your letters before you get them anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
seeing
crazy.
people in prison with phones. I'm tripping. I'm like, I thought that
Yeah.
was like on TV, but I saw
Well,
it.
that's guards though. That think about it.
Yeah.
Not to get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Not to get sidetracked from the topic. But those are guards. I mean, the prisoners don't leave prisons.
Right.
The only people that leave the prison are the guards.
Or the guards, yeah.
And so if marijuana, any type of
they
drugs
get in
getting
there.
in,
Coming in
Yeah.
from outside.
and phones and all that stuff
Yeah.
coming in from the outside.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Yep. So on that, that internet is It's a beast because it's a necessity and it's an addictive necessity.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Fred was saying, if we didn't have it, that would put us behind a lot of these other countries, which, you know, we are considered one of the most dominant countries out there. So, you know, we definitely want to stay on top of things, which makes it, again, a necessity. But just the fact that, you know, like we were saying earlier, these teenagers or 13-year-olds and even younger than that are having access to things that, you know, as a parent and a grandparent, you know, we feel definitely they shouldn't have access to.
Right.
So
It's almost, I think, to the point to where when it comes to the kids, you have to physically monitor.
and that's the thing.
And it's kind of impossible to do.
Well, I mean, from what Comedian 96 was saying, if China can do it with TikTok, we should be able to do it somehow, some way
Right.
with our internet.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, which would take more control over what's being
Viewed by teenagers.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
we can do that, but again, that'll make us a dictator country. Like we won't be a free country.
Okay, so maybe parents should do more.
They need to do
Of
more
dictators.
parental guidance.
Yeah.
Cutting it off.
But they're not doing that because what they do is throw something in their kid's face. Here,
Yeah,
get
he
the
go
phone.
He go
Get your tablet.
That's one of the problems. Another problem is they don't know how to operate it, or they don't know how to
The kids got to show them how to.
yeah.
Man, I had a 3-year-old show me how to do something. I'm like, yeah, you know the 3 dots. How you know about the 3 dots? You 3.
Yeah, they're able
How you
to
know
maneuver
first-
better than we are now.
First of all, how did you know it was 3 dots?
Yeah.
Then, how did you know to go there and go here and to go to the wallpaper? You can't spell wallpaper, but you know how to do it at 3. And that's another thing the internet is enabling kids, man. We used to go outside and play. We used to make mud pies. How many mud pies? You ask a kid have they ate a mud pie this day and age. They don't even know what mud pie is.
Let me ask you this. So you say it's enabling the kids.
Yeah.
Could it be that if you have a toddler that's able to work their way through the internet, that toddler is actually able to keep up with the times of what's going on in society, as far as the internet is here to stay.
Yeah.
And if you had an adult or a kid that didn't know how to work the internet, they're behind in time.
Yeah.
They're behind.
Right.
Case in point, think about your elderly today. I have some elders that's, you know, in their 70s and close to 80s, and you hand them a cell phone, they don't know how to work their cell phone, and they're gonna say, "Come mash these buttons."
Yeah.
Well, that's me right now.
Come mash these buttons.
My daughter getting mad at me right now.
So if you got a toddler that's able to work a cell phone, could it be that toddler is actually able to keep up with the times, whether it's not making them lazy, they're actually just being able to keep up with the times? Just a thought.
It could be one of both. It could be.
I mean, that goes back to us saying the internet is what's teaching these kids these
That's
days.
what I was gonna think. You know,
Because, again, that person, that kid might end up being an IT technician or IT developer.
Yeah.
So, you can look at it that way. But then at the same time, you can look at it as like, he ain't doing nothing on there but watching Moly Colioli or something.
So let's narrow it down.
Yeah.
So is it actually the internet or is it social media?
I would say it's both. Because without the internet, you wouldn't get social media.
You would, yeah.
So the internet would be the main brain to all of this stuff that is given to the population.
Of course.
Matrix.
Yeah,
Right.
of course. But so again,
I would say 90% social media.
you can have the internet, but if you didn't have social media,
the way it
then
is
how
now.
would things be different?
Right.
Would things be different?
Right.
But you can have the internet and you can still go to porn sites. You can still go to the little black market You need to go buy your kidney or whatever they do.
Well, that's where as parents need to step up in that
Crypto.
situation, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, it
To
should
have
be
some type of
ways.
monitoring.
Some type of monitor.
You know.
Okay,
Right.
let's remove the kids from it then, and let's just talk about the adults.
Okay.
Let's talk about the adults that are at work and should be on the job doing their work.
And there's no social
Yeah.
media.
But they shopping.
Well, you got a lot of them be on social media. 'Cause, hey, let me tell you, man, people post all day long, and you know these people at work.
Yeah, yeah.
They know they at work.
And they posted their job. They posted that they at
Nah,
work.
they posted when they in their desk and they cubicle at work taking
Take
pictures.
pictures. Yeah.
You know,
So so again, I go back to your first statement. It has to be discipline, like you said.
yeah, discipline
It's discipline.
plays a big role.
Because sometimes you get excited, you get your first job, and
Okay.
but if you're doing it every day, like a lot of people I know, they just every day moved, taking pictures. And,
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Man,
Just-
you got people be posted. I can't wait till 5 o'clock. Comes.
you
know they at
every
work.
Friday.
Okay, I got a question then. Since you guys are going back to discipline, if you're addicted, can you be disciplined as an addict? Can an addict be disciplined?
Strong will.
I mean, because then if that was the case, then would you still be considered an addict?
Well, we
Right.
know some drug heads and
They discipline on certain things, huh?
alcoholics that have stopped drinking and have stopped smoking and stopped. So if they have the discipline,
Yeah.
then they can stop. They can control it. I believe in, like, you might find this funny, but I believe in control, like they say, control crackhead, right? They regular workers, they go to work, they got a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
They function, but then they'll just get lost for a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
And you don't see him
you don't
for
see
a
them
while.
for a while, for like a week. And then they'll come back and they'll operate and function like a regular person, but you'll never know that's what they did. So it happens. I mean, because I don't necessarily want to call it a relapse, because then I don't necessarily want to call it they still addicted. So they like in the middle. You know what I mean? Because it's not a relapse. It's just the way you operate anyway. You might not smoke a crack rock for 2 years, and then one day you just might,
I
just
tell you
disappear
what,
for 3 days, and then
long
come
as-
back to work and never do it again for another 2 years.
As long as they have the internet, you're
Yes.
gonna backslide.
That's what I'm saying. So the internet is
It's
going
an addiction.
So
It's gonna be hard. Yeah.
let's go deeper then.
Yeah.
So Key proposed a question. K Money proposed a question of, can you be disciplined if you are addicted? So let's go deeper. Maybe it's not so much as being disciplined. It could be that you are easily distracted.
I can see that.
Because the internet, we need the internet because it's a necessity.
Right.
But if there's distractions there, then maybe your attention span, when you're on the internet, maybe your attention span is not that good,
Yeah, that's where you'd
and
have
you
to
get
discipline.
distracted.
That's where you'd have to discipline at if that's the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes
It
sense.
has to be a mental thing at that point, because physically you actually going to this. So mentally, first you'd have to already tell yourself, I'm not gonna go on the internet, or I'm not gonna go on a certain social media page. Mentally, you have to be there first, So yeah,
Why don't we do this? Why do we do this? Like 24 hours after the show, take your phones and we all four say, we're not gonna use. We can call each other, we can text, but for 24 hours, no internet, no Facebook, no Instagram, no nothing, and see how hard it is to get through one day, and then try to make that call.
Bro, trust me, at my age, that ain't gonna be no problem for me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't even be on social media like that anyway.
yeah.
So that really would
That's right.
that would be a challenge for me.
You'd have to go a week
A week?
Yeah, that would be a challenge.
Well, I have to log into my bank account. That's the only thing.
You got to go to the bank.
Who do you bank?
So I can just go.
You got to go to the bank.
So
no internet banking.
They got plenty of Chase banks around here,
Okay.
so that wouldn't be an excuse.
All right. So I can't. Oh,
A week.
you asking? Ow, man, 1 week?
Because the 24
Can
hours
we-
is not going to
can-
really be
Can
that.
we try 3 days? Just 1, 2, 3 instead of 7. I mean, y'all just, golly.
Okay, so we're safe to say you one of these people that's addicted. You don't have that discipline. I
Yeah.
comedian 96.
That's
It's
the
not
addiction.
that. I'm
There's
going
addiction
through some
there.
things.
Withdrawals. What is it?
I'm going through some things. Y'all, 3 weeks. I mean, a week. Oh man, you know what can happen in a week?
So a lot of things that can and can't happen without the internet, huh?
Well, you know what? I ain't going to lie. I couldn't do it for a week.
See?
I wouldn't be a week. I wouldn't be able to do
That's
it.
how I'm telling
I ain't
you.
gonna even lie. I wouldn't be able to do it for a week. Cause I'm gonna tell you what I do. I don't be on there all day.
Yeah.
Like Facebook, Instagram.
Well,
I'm gonna be on there every now and then.
One ass shake at least.
You know, but that's all you're gonna see on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I gotta see one, just one, man.
But you see the addiction in that.
Yeah, and they don't sell the magazines no more like they did back in the day. So, and I ain't going to the little store no more. No, the little toy stores. Hell, no, there's some weirdos in there.
So is that an internet addiction or is that a sexual addiction?
It sounds like a
It sounds like a sexual
Sound like a
addiction.
different type of addiction, bro.
A little bit more.
It sound like a
What we
different
do with this
type.
comedian 96,
Yeah, a
fellas.
little bit more. But let me explain. Well, you can't explain. Well, yeah, this is not explain. It's not. Hey, so
That'd be another show, man.
yeah, we'll talk about that on the topic.
That'd be another show.
You know.
Yeah, but the internet, man, without it, man, it's gonna be hard to do anything pretty much now, you know. So I would say that, yeah, I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to
I think
having
we all are at some
the
point.
internet, you know.
I mean, because I can't get my job done without the
Without
internet.
the internet, yeah. When you go to work, you got to do internet. You know, it is what it is. Any kind of job you do nowadays requires the internet.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, we gotta have some rules because I use the internet at my job. I'm on computers all day.
So
if your job know you been in porn on a porn site somewhere, you gonna get your ass fired, man. So they got rules at your job.
Put the HTTPS.
So you need some kind of rules, man.
////
Now, and then you gotta look at it this way. So what if you are addicted, right? But you on the job that has rules, and you know if you break those rules, you're gonna get fired. So how addicted are you?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
You know how to follow rules.
yeah, but that's my bread.
That's
So
discipline.
you ain't-
Yeah, but
That's
that's the point though.
Yeah.
So that's what control.
So
discipline.
you control. Somebody had to put some rules
Well,
and stipulate.
I'm still on the internet, just in my head.
No,
I done logged in. I'm gonna get my password. Okay, I'm scrolling in my head.
Now, if it pop up, that don't mean you actually went to it, right?
No, if I get an actual bubble thought, don't pay no mind to it. It's something that is just passed by. Man. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it took me some discipline, I gotta admit it, because I know when I first started my job, it was things that I knew I shouldn't have been looking at that I found myself looking at longer than I needed to be looking at.
Yeah.
Right.
But as time went on, I found that I could wait till I got off to go back to
go
looking
back
at
and
those
look at
things
it,
that I
yeah.
didn't need to be looking at.
Yeah.
But honestly, for real, all jokes aside, I know I'm joking, but I had found myself one day I was scrolling. I actually got better at it. Don't get me wrong, I still do. But I said to myself, I said, man, I'm scrolling. I'm on this internet way too much. I'm on Instagram scrolling. I ain't doing nothing, just scrolling. And I caught myself. So what I did do is start taking advantage of stuff like reading books and my Bible app. That. So now, at least I utilize and do something positive.
Positive,
I
right.
use my Bible app. So that's probably the only positive thing, my Bible app, the podcast, the internet that I use, but the rest of it, you just gotta stop.
So you go into church online and some pop up, hey stud muffin.
Right after
distracted, huh?
Right after man, I'm telling you, so I use the Bible after to do my prayers tonight. So I can have something.
Church
Man, and when you press amen, the commercial come up. I'm like, God, no, I just prayed. Why would you do that? Like, what is it?
Shoot me that Bible app though. If it's doing pop-ups like that.
Why would you want to?
I'm just curious to see it, bro. Real talk.
No, you don't. After a prayer, my bro. Come on, you don't want to do that, man. That ain't cool. Like, I just got through praying. Now I'm jumping right back in the. I gotta close my eyes right after I hit amen.
God know my heart. God know my heart.
Yeah, it is.
But this
is an interesting topic, I can say.
Yeah, because without that internet, man, I mean, like you say, you send emails to people. To be honest with you, I pay all my bills online. Without the internet,
Can't do that.
I can't do it.
well, they just social media, that makes it a drug. You have people that shop,
Right?
You have it's other things that makes it addicting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said earlier, I give social media about 90%. And that other 5% I will give to those that are addicted to shopping. That just made their shopping a lot more easier.
Right.
And then that other 5%, I guess that would be more or less our generation, because that's when the internet first was introduced. When when we were pretty much in our primes, I would like to think, at least me anyway. But other than that, man, I it's definitely not going anywhere.
No.
So we have to get used to it, but it has to be more disciplined at how we use it and utilize it. And if we have kids, then we definitely need to monitor it a lot better than what we have been doing.
I agree with that.
Because again, these kids are being exposed to things that they definitely
don't need to be.
Don't need to have lay eyes on.
I feel like that because I got granddaughters.
Yeah, and that's making them think that they're grown a lot sooner than they already were thinking that they're grown.
And they got access to internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just have to do better as parents and co-parents and whatnot. But I want to thank all my listeners out there. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for Women Wednesday with Freddie G. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Scott Podcast. And for all you YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe. And to all my 52 Scott faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.